Wow, I think we are live, aren't we?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I had a few technical problems there, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Panic, panic, panic. But good afternoon, everyone. My name's Leslie O'Connor, and I am here. I am here with the Real Table Talk. We are back. Yay! And yes, like I said, my name's Leslie. Sorry, with that technical difficulty, it's just thrown me off. I'm like, what was that about? Facebook has shown me a different way to get into the system. And I was like, yeah, panicking that I wouldn't be able to do the show, or we wouldn't be able to do the show today. But we are here, we are live, and everything is working fine. So that's really good. So welcome, Real Table Talk. Leslie O'Connor, the founder of Real Table Talk. And the reason why I wanted to set this up is so we can have different conversations with different people coming onto the platform and sharing their stories. Then we can have like a nice debate with yourselves as well, leaving comments for us so we can answer them, and so we can all interact with each other. And I think it's something what we really need, so we can all talk to each other. So if you've got any comments and you'd like to talk to us, you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments, because Karen Cruz, she's amazing, and she will tell you she will relay all the questions to us. So please welcome, while I'm nattering on, Real Table Talk and our special guest. Yay! Welcome, ladies. Please introduce
Hello. Well, I'm Marcia Hilton, and I am the CEO and founder of Life Inspired Wellness. Life Inspired Wellness is an organisation that supports women to break free from toxic relationships, and I help them create healthy new ones with themselves first and foremost. That is me.
Hey, thank you, Marcia. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Karen?
Oh, yes, I'm Karen Cruz, and I am the founder and director of Flourished Minds Limited, which is a company where our focus is young people and helping our young people, whatever their background, wherever they've come from, helping them to, I'm not going to do it, Leslie, helping them to flourish and thrive. I'm just slightly distracted because on my phone, there's the words are coming up.
All right, so now we've gone in a different way. Oh my goodness.
So interesting. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, we work with young people to just help them be absolutely fabulous young people and grow up into being amazing adults.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Karen. And yeah, it's thrown us all off today, don't you think? It's like, what's going on with Facebook? I'm
like, this is really clever. It spelled my name wrong, so I'm a bit annoyed about that.
Has it spelled my name correctly? L-E-S-L-E-Y or I-E?
It's spelled Cruz, C-R-U-Z. Anyway,
welcome everybody, and our special guest today, Marcia Clarke. And it's all about abundant food. It's about having those treats and not feeling guilty about it. So let me tell you, welcome, Marcia. Welcome, and thank you for coming on the platform.
Greetings, Leslie, Karen, and Marcia, and I'm blessed to be here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Right, so let me tell our audience a little bit. First, before I introduce you, Marcia, let's just find out what have you been up to for the past week? How have you enjoyed your last week?
Sorry.
Oh, we've got two Marcias, yeah.
Well, we have got two Marcias, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Go on, Marcia.
Go ahead, Marcia. No, go ahead.
One of you.
Right. Go ahead, Marcia.
Yeah, my past week was being spent fulfilling orders, essentially, and doing a bit of work on the business, doing a bit of marketing, and a little bit of product development as well.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
Nice.
And yourself, Marcia, what have you been up to?
Well, I have been busy bee preparing for my course that is going to be launched next week, actually.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Working on that. So there is still time. There's still 1 or 2 places left. So if anybody wants to jump on, they can. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, but yeah, it's exciting. I'm really excited.
Very
about that.
exciting.
It
Ooh.
sounds really good. And yourself, Karen?
Well, this week I've been coaching most days. I spend 2 full days at a school, Monday and Tuesday at 2 different schools. And Saturdays I coach at the Eugenia Project for the children in Chapeltown. And we've had a few private clients as well during the week. I've been out for walks. I've started my PT sessions again. So I've been to the gym, been like getting the muscle.
Yay!
Generally enjoying life. 2 of my friends, one very close friend and someone that I worked with, have had really serious health issues, and it's just made me be even more grateful for my life.
Yeah, absolutely. I found out actually this week that a good friend who I knew, but they did anyway. I found out that he'd actually passed away. Yeah, and 52, and he passed away of COVID, which is just just heartbreaking. Yeah. So but my week has been. Yeah, it's been busy. It's just getting to the end of all my assignments, so just getting my work together and just finishing off my work and then deciding, right, Leslie, what are you going to do now? So just working on my other projects as well, which is, really exciting. I'm going to tell you all later. I'm not going to reveal anything yet. But yes, so it's been a good week. And what about this beautiful weather, ladies?
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
How beautiful is the weather? It is so nice. It's because it makes you feel
Caught some
that
sun.
smiling. Yeah, I need to get some.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Shine, doesn't it?
Yes, it makes it does. It makes you
Yeah.
feel really good.
I obviously need to get a bit more sun, being like the palest one in here. I'm looking like I feel anemic.
Casper, I'm going to call you Casper.
In it. White like Duppy.
Oh, Lord. So let me introduce our guest, Marcia Clarke, to our platform today. So Marcia decided to change her life. No, Marcia, you see, Marcia, look, sorry, the audience knows I'm dyslexic, right? So all your bios here, and it's all highlighted in red. But one of the words what I was really struggling with, I got Alexa to read it out to say it, and it was artisan.
Yeah.
So a change in her lifestyle led to an artisan food producer, Marcia Clarke, to pursue a career, a life with more purpose. A passion for eating more nutritious foods inspired her to start her own food business, helping others to deal with their sweet tooth with a little healthier way. So Marcia, on your bio, there's lots of different things what you've actually done. And Marcia, she's traveled the world, she's done her degree, she started her own business, she makes absolutely beautiful desserts. We're all going to be hearing about them. But Marcia, first of all, let me just ask this question. What was it? Where did you travel to? Where did you go?
Well, when I first set off, I went with the plan of going to Israel and doing. Have you heard of kibbutz?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I did the kibbutz thing, and then I got the travel bug. So I was there for like 3 months, and I travelled all around Israel like you do, and then. Given where Israel is, it borders on Egypt. So you have to go to Egypt when you're out there. And then it borders on Syria. So you have to go to Syria when you're out there. And, it's a bit like, when you go shopping and you think, well, I'm in the supermarket, I need to grab that, and I need to grab that. But it's a similar thing when you're traveling. You don't want to make more than one journey. So, but at the time I was 19, I had no ties, I had no commitments. you know, it's just the best time to go, really. And I wasn't into the university thing back then. So I know, like, at that kind of age, a lot of people are leaving, going from A levels to university and that kind of thing at that sort of age. But, you know, that wasn't for me back then. I didn't think I was smart enough to ever do a degree. So, you know, just a series of dead end jobs made me realize that, you know, I had to be more to life than this. And off I went, packed up everything, um, gave up my accommodation, moved what bits I had into my parents' house, and that was it. Just me and a backpack. And yeah, so I did all of like the Middle East, and then I came home to London. Well, I came home to England because I've always lived in Leeds, and I was the flight I got back dropped me in London, and I was walking past a travel agent, and I saw that they were, and this is how long ago this was, saw that you could get a return ticket to the United States for £99.
Wow.
And I was like, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my God.
and yeah, so I was in London briefly, and then off I went and travelled around the United States.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Good for
So I was
you.
away for 18 months in total.
Wow.
Wow.
I spent a lot of that time in New York. I ended up settling in New York. Loved it there. You know, New York is
Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is the place where it all happens, and it was a real eye opener as well. Because remember, I was just still 19. I wasn't quite church girl, but I was quite innocent and naive, I guess, really. And so New York helps me to grow up.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. God, that must have been a real adventure, though. You know, or did you see it as an adventure being so young?
Yeah, I did. I just saw it as, like I said, this opportunity to see, to get more out of life, because before I left, you know, I'd done the usual thing. I was in a job, and you know, the usual thing, you go to work, you come home, you go out at the weekends, you've got more month left at the end of the money, and all that kind of life that you live in. And 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 I thought, you know, maybe life could be simpler in a lot of respects as well. You know, no ties with things, no accommodation to have to give up. You know, no children to worry about, and that kind of thing. And I just thought, you know, now's the time to just live my life.
Just do it. Yeah, it sounds
Can I ask you something, Marcia? What made you do the kibbutz? What was the attraction for that? That's
Um,
interesting.
Well, you know how you have these influences in your life, and it was an ex-boyfriend actually who told me he'd done it and how amazing it was. And so I started looking into it, and the more I looked into it, I thought, yeah, that's the thing for me. Because, you know, if you're going to go off traveling around the world, you know, half your battle is finding accommodation and, you know, being somewhere safe and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, you know, if I start on a kibbutz, which is, you know, you're in a set place, you've got your accommodation taken care of, you've got you know, you're going to be safe. I just thought it was a great way to start my traveling life. And yeah, and I had to. They used to put you to work as well. I'd never really done like manual labour, so it did come as a bit of a shock to me. And yeah, and the main job that I had was working in what they call the refit, which is the dairy. So that was basically milking the cows. And I thought I'd be like sat on, you know, that little three-pronged stool that they have when you're doing all of this. No, it's all done by machinery now.
Right.
So, you know, you have to go out and herd the cows in and get them in their little funnel thing, and then put the things on and milk them, watch the machines. And I was running up and down with like, there was like 8 cows in a row, and I've been running up and down and checking, and when that's finished, I have to herd it out and, you know, check the machines and all this kind of stuff.
Wow.
But, you know, there were other jobs that I did as well. I think one time I had to work in the burger factory. Used to make, because it was Israel, and you know, they don't eat pork, but they used to, on this kibbutz, they used to make pork burgers, but it was only for like the people they're called kibbutzniks, which is like, you know, the people who come in traveling. They reserve that work for them because the Jewish people didn't want to touch it with it being pork. So yeah, so I did all various jobs, and they used to take us
Excellent.
out on day trips and all that kind of stuff as well. Like I said, it was just like time of
Wow.
my life. When
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you settle down and you've got a mortgage and you know all these commitments and all that kind of stuff, and a car and all these things, you think, oh Lord, I'm long for that life.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's good. And
Mm.
so what brought you? I know you live in Leeds, and so you're originally from Leeds.
Well, I was born in London actually. We came up to Leeds when I was so young. I see Leeds as my home now.
Right. Okay. And so you were saying that you know what brought you to your own business, you know, making healthy products, because I know you were saying about your dad. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so you know, it's not uncommon these days for people to have like type 2 diabetes, and particularly within our community, it seems to be quite you know, quite present really. And so Dad was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes when I was quite young. I was only in my teens, and to begin with, you know, you get like the diet sheets and nutrition advice, and you know how you're supposed to eat and make sure you manage like your diabetes. And it is a, as much as we call it a disease, it is something that people live with for decades. You know, it doesn't have to take your life, but you do need to manage your diet and that kind of thing. And you know, if you think back to the time, you know, back in the day, people from a certain generation of our people, it's like, no one's going to tell me what to eat, and this kind of stuff. You understand me? And second of all, you know, this is a generation that came over here eating our kind of food. You know, although it's food that's primarily plant based, you know, there are certain aspects of the food that we naturally eat that sadly are not good for, you know, our diabetes and stuff. You know, the carbs and that kind of stuff, and the sugar. And so I think whilst we were at home and there was somebody to monitor him and make sure he kept up with his diet, that was fine. But when, you know, everyone had left home and he was just left to his own devices, it was like, we're not bother with that. Unfortunately, that's yeah. And it became a real challenge, you know, to keep him on track. And and at the end of the day, you know, no one's going to come to you come to your house and you know, prize the biscuits out your hand at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, going
Yeah.
on with that. So yeah, so eventually it started to impact his health, and I don't know if you know some of the health issues associated with diabetes. It affects your eyesight, so his eyesight started to go. He lost toes, were amputated, and then obviously the more serious things come, the strokes, and you know, eventually he lost his life to it, really. And I saw it as a warning and a lesson to me, really, that you do have control over what you put into your mouth, basically. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's easy, because Lord, it's not easy. Anyone who's ever opened a packet of biscuits will tell you it's not easy. But you do have some control over it, and it just made me realise that I needed to look at how I was eating. And I didn't have the worst diet, don't get me wrong, but I realised that I needed to do better. So I started looking at the food that I was eating, and researching it as well, and researching it beyond what I was being told by my doctors, or you know, general information and advice. And I started to come to the conclusion that there are certain things that I just don't think are good for our body. It's difficult for our body to process it, and that creates all kinds of strains and stresses on your organs. You know, we have things like is it the liver that regenerates itself after X amount of days and that kind of stuff. But yet it still has to do work like your liver and your kidneys and those major organs, they have to do work to deal with some of the food that
Detox.
we're processing. Although it can strengthen them and make them healthier and better, you can put strain on them by consuming certain kinds of foods. Yeah, so I decided that, you know, after doing a lot of reading and things like that, I decided to cut certain things out of my diet, and that's things like dairy. I eat much less meat. I eat hardly any meat now, and I wanted to up the amount of plant-based things that I ate. I cut out gluten. I don't eat soy. And just over processed foods and refined sugar and things like that. And so I went along with that journey. You know, I started to make smoothies and those, you know, have more smoothies and juice and that kind of thing. And you know, like I said, I felt better. You know, my body felt better, and me within myself, I felt better as well. And the more research and reading I did around it, I realized that, you know, your food and your mood are connected. And also, you know, how you feel on a day-to-day, not just how you feel on a day-to-day basis, but just how your body behaves and stuff as well, and how your body carries you through. So, you know, the right kind of food gives you the right kind of energy, and that kind of stuff. And but the big issue I had was my sweet tooth. It would always trip me up. So, you know, I'd be, you know, eating really healthy and clean and that kind of stuff, and then there'd be like, I don't know, 4 bars of something for £1 these days. You remember back in the day it was like £1 for a bar, but now it's like 4 of them for £1. And little Miss kind of a little bit addictive personality, you know, I couldn't just eat one of those. So you know, the rest I'd eat one, and the other 3 were saying, eat me. And yeah, it was always tripping me up, and it kind of felt like I was undoing all my good work. So I started experimenting with making like sweet treats, just, you know, for myself and friends and stuff. And then around that time, I also started going to these things called vegan potlucks, which is it's essentially like a gathering of people where they get together at somebody's house, and everybody brings like a vegan dish. We all just, you know, it all gets laid out on a table and everybody just piles in, and that's why it's called a potluck, because you're not sure what people will be bringing. But the idea behind it is to just introduce people to, you know, having a more plant-based lifestyle, and showing them that there are options out there. It's not like it used to be back in the day where you had to eat twigs and flavored cardboard if you were a vegan. There's so many options available now, and they can taste good as well. And I'd find that with many of these sweet things that people would bring along, they'd be nice and they taste good, but it just tastes a bit too healthy. And what I realized just from like chatting to people is that, yeah, people want to have their sweet treats, but why many of the time they're not giving them up is because they miss that rich, indulgent, you know, like having a real treat kind of taste. And so those combined things got me started on experimenting initially with creating some like indulgent sweet treats.
Wow.
And then, like I said, I would test them on friends and family, and consequently have no friends and family left. Yeah, they're all still about, thankfully. And you know, I asked them to give me like feedback and stuff, and everyone was, you know, saying to me, with just a little tweak here or there or whatever, these are really, really good, really, really nice, and you should start a business. And it never occurred to me to do that ever. Yeah, I guess that's how Abundance Foods was born.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really nice, isn't it?
And I can be testimony to Marcia's sweet treat. So when we were going to launch Flourish Minds, remember Marcia?
Yeah.
I do.
So Marcia Clarke, I asked to provide the cupcakes for the launch.
Yeah.
They were going to be branded. We're talking about branding, Leslie. They were going to be branded, so all Flourish Minds colours. They're going to be orange and black. And then I met Marcia, and I was like, well, I spoke to her. I thought, can I ask her this? I went like, so Marcia, I really like the idea that they're healthy and everything, but I really do need to taste it, because there is that thing with healthy stuff just tastes like healthy, and I wanted it to taste like chocolate. You mind, Marcy? She's like, no, no, no. We met up and she brought me a cupcake, and I tasted it. I was like, oh my God, this is like amazing. And in fact, I was going to eat it all. And Marcy was like, why don't you save some for your daughter or your husband? I'm like, oh yeah. And I brought it home. Michael didn't get any. I brought it home, and Olivia's a real chocolate lover. And I didn't even tell her it was healthy. I just said, what do you think of these cupcakes? She went, oh, Mum, this is beautiful. And I'm like, so they just taste like, oh, beautiful.
Wow.
Not healthy. They don't taste healthy. They just taste beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had the pleasure of having some of your truffles.
Oh, yeah.
And some of your little cheesecakes as well.
Yeah.
And you would never tell, you could really just, it's happy days when you're eating them, isn't it? I mean, they're just so nice.
Yeah. This is healthy. This is healthy.
Yeah.
So just a few comments. First of all, Marcia Hilton, there's a special comment for you from your grandson. He says, hi, Nana, it's Nye.
Oh, okay. Hi, Nye.
Hi.
May Hilton says, Marcia Clarke, your hair is amazing. She's loving your hair.
Thank you.
And Lynette Sadler says, yeah, habits are really hard to die and to let go for many of us, which is so true. And that plant-based foods are really good for our liver and kind of sweeps out the intestinal tract, which sounds great. May also said she's tasted some of your wonderful delights, Marcia, and they are delightful, she says.
Oh, thank you.
Lynette, I'm sure you'll mention this, Marcia, and maybe leave a link here, but Lynette asks for your website. And Kathy at RJC Dance also asked if Marcia's details can be put in the chat.
Definitely.
Ebony Milestone says the truffles, cheesecake, flapjacks, well, everything is delicious.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to trying them.
Yes, you most definitely will one day. And when we talk about the H word, I just want to throw something in there about the H word, because when I first started with like my branding and stuff, I used to use the word healthy in my description of them. And I think the problem with that word now is it's become and I know what word I want to use, but I need to use a more Facebook Live appropriate word. But it's become quite tarnished in a lot of respects, because there's a lot of food manufacturers out there that are saying, oh, it's healthy because we've taken this out, or we've taken that out, or it's got less sugar, or it's got less this, that, and the other. But it still isn't necessary. Some of these products are still not necessarily good for our body and how our body functions and stuff. And I think that people view that word with skepticism now.
Right.
I try to use the term. I know it's a longer phrase to use, but instead of healthy, I try to use better for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I could say, well, eat some of my truffles or eat some of my cheesecakes, and you'll instantly become the picture of health. And what's that health magazine, Optimum Health, will be calling you the next day to feature you on the front cover and all this kind of stuff. And it really doesn't work like that. You can't have 15 pints of lager and a curry the night before and then eat one of my cheesecakes and you'll suddenly become healthy.
Really?
Yeah.
And this is the thing, unfortunately, people do literally take the word, they take it at its at its core meaning and think that it will instantly make them healthy. And you could argue, well, that's not my fault that you think like that. But equally, you could say there's so much misleading of people that I don't want to be a part of that either. I need to be the change I want to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Sergi's saying that she's wanting something sweet just by listening to us. Ebony says that she buys them for gifts for everyone, and people are always delighted. And Lynette suggests that rather than using the word healthy, you could just mention the the most nutrient ingredient and the benefits that are in your products, Marcia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I do my marketing, if she, if was it Lynette?
Yeah.
If she'd like to follow my Facebook page, plug, see that I that I often talk about the health benefits of things. So, as an example, I use a lot of cacao in my products that have, that are chocolate based. I only use cacao. I don't use cocoa. And for those that don't know the difference between the two, briefly, when they basically make chocolate, they take the cocoa bean and they roast it, and then they use that to make chocolate. But if you take the raw cacao, the raw cocoa bean, and don't process it and don't add heat to it, because when you add heat to things, it can reduce the minerals and the vitamins and things. I use cacao because it's unprocessed and it's raw and it's its most natural state. And when things are in their most natural state, that's when you get most of the benefits, the minerals and nutrients and the antioxidants. And so, I like to bang on about those things. When you get passionate about your business and you just...
Yeah.
So,
We know.
I like to add in, my chat about the health benefits. So some people think, oh, chocolate's naughty, chocolate's bad, but there's chocolate and there's chocolate. And that said, my products are cacao based.
That's it. The cacao.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the day, with our parents, when like Christmas time, when they'd make the chocolate tea, and they'd have the raw chocolate. Is that the cacao?
That probably is, yeah. If it's a cocoa bean and it's not been roasted or processed in any way,
you just get raw. Yeah,
and that's why it can be quite powerful. I know some people might use the word bitter, and that's why I add the unrefined sugar to help balance that. That bitterness.
Yeah. Because I do remember that, back in the day, we used to get the real chocolate, and they'd grate it down and do all sorts and boil it up, and we'd have chocolate tea.
Chocolate tea, absolutely.
And fried dumpling and all that for Christmas.
Fried dumpling, isn't it?
And that's all, as you're saying there, Marcia, it just reminds me that we've come full circle in a lot of ways, and this is why businesses like mine are why there's a demand for them, because come full circle when it comes to food. We've gotten back to basics, many of us, and we're concerned about what's happening to our food. We're concerned about how much processing and stripping of nutrients and things are happening to it, and how things will go from naturally brown to be white. How does that happen? Well, you strip out all the nutrients and the good stuff.
Yeah, really interesting. My daughter's just been watching Seaconspiracy. She no longer eats fish. She's just stopped eating fish. I know. I need to watch this Seaconspiracy. She's like, Mum, you need to watch Seaconspiracy. And I'm not even that fussed about it. It's just the fact that she's becoming aware of something. I like the fact that she's researching stuff.
It might be my internet.
Sorry. Yeah, your internet did go a bit strange.
That's interesting, Karen, because a lot of young people, like my brother's children, they just come in from school one day and decided that they're eating meat, and they've not looked back. And that's,
And the thing about healthy, what got me about the healthy thing, Marcia, was I never drunk them, but the innocent drinks. And I once looked at the back of an innocent drink, and it had in more sugar than 4 donuts. But they were classing that as a healthy drink just because it had some fruit in it. And you're like, no, it's not. It really isn't. So you do have to be very careful. Read your labels, people. Sorry.
Say that again.
Read your labels.
Yeah, definitely. So are you living your purpose? Is this your purpose? Is this your passion? Is this what you're made to do?
Yeah, I think it takes a long time for you to, firstly, to realize that we all have a purpose. Not everybody believes in that or understands that, but I think once you understand it, then you realize that you're here for a reason. And I believe that probably is my purpose, really. And I don't just want to run a business. I want to be able to kind of like help educate people, and I want people to be able to not just revolutionize their relationship with sweet things, but their relationship with all aspects of what they eat. And I think, you know, if you revolutionize, you know, your diet and that kind of thing, as many of you will probably know of people who've done that and their life has changed. You know, just like I was saying before, your food and your mood are connected, and you know, what you eat impacts not I personally believe that what you eat impacts you not just physically, but psychologically and spiritually as well. And you know, I want people to be able to do that. I want to be able to educate people in that, and make them realize that, okay, I've tackled the sweet stuff. Now let me move on to something else that, you know, is upsetting my body, or let me, you know, move on to something else. And it's just showing that those possibilities, really.
Yeah. You said you stopped eating meat, and have you stopped eating fish as well?
No, I've cut right back on meat, so I have it just very, very occasionally, kind of like no chicken and that kind of stuff either. I do eat so it's basically fish and vegetables and fruit is my diet, really. So it's primarily plant-based. And yeah, but like I was saying before, when I gave up all those kinds of things, it felt to me like the more and more reading and research that I did, that these things were not good for our body. And, you know, I'm not here telling anybody what to eat and what not to eat. I'm just saying that, you know, from my own reading, my own research, and what I feel comfortable with, because some people are quite happy to continue to eat dairy or gluten or soy or whatever those things are. But me, I just don't believe that they're doing good inside our body. So all my products, they're free from dairy, gluten, wheat, soy, refined sugar, chemicals, preservatives, eggs, palm oil, and anything else like that.
Wow. How do you get them things so beautiful? Am I going to be book over then? Sorry.
It takes some time, and that's why, you know, I haven't got a massive range of products, because what I'll do is I'll see something, and also I should say that some of the motivation for starting with, like, the truffles as an example, was a bit selfish. There were certain things, certain sweets that, like I said, used to always trip me up, and one of them was this chocolate bar with coconut in it. I'm sure you know what I mean. Something about paradise, it used to say on the advert. And that's why that's one of my truffles. And because I wanted to find an alternative to that. You know, I'd read the label, just as Karen was saying, and it's like, what is this stuff? I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
You know, what does it do?
Yeah.
What does it do? And more importantly, what's it doing in my body? You know, what impact is it having in my body? And another one is that treat that comes with, it's hazelnut inside and it's got chopped nuts and chocolate on the outside. And that's another one of my truffles, because like I said, I really, really miss them. And they say that necessity, what is it they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. So and you know, I needed to pick out on them, and so the best thing to do was create my own. So it takes quite a bit of what I say, product research, and I have taste testers that I send them out to, and people that are going to give me honest feedback. And
Can I be a tester?
of course you can. I'm always looking for taste testers, discerning taste testers. Yes, so it takes, because, you know, the food manufacturing sector or whatever is very much around it's very much based around using the cheapest ingredients and getting the biggest margin on it. And so they'll use all kinds of additional things to add to something that quite often it's because they've stripped something of all its goodness, so they have to put something else in to make it taste better. Or it's got too many chemicals in it, so we have to put a different chemical in to make it taste better to counteract the first chemical we've put in. Or, you know, when you use chemicals and and lab grown kind of stuff, they're really cheap to produce. So, you know, this is why we ended up with things like palm oil as an example. That's quite a new oil. But when you look at what goes on and how that's harvested, how they're destroying swathes of the rainforest to be able to grow this stuff.
Yeah.
And when I look at all the different oils that we have, all the natural plant-based oils that we have already, we kind of don't need any of that kind of stuff really. So it's so I'll see something and I think, oh, that would be nice for me to make as a product. And then the next question is, you know, how can I make it vegan?
Yeah.
Actually. And I only use the word vegan because, you know, for most people that constitutes that it's got no dairy in it. But I'm also quite skeptical about a lot of what they call, you know, vegan alternatives, because yes, they will take out the dairy, but they'll put all kinds of other chemicals and all kinds of horrifying sounding stuff in it instead. And so, you know, I try not, you know, people who are vegan, you know, do buy my stuff, but it's not about necessarily the not using animal product. It's about not pumping our food full of chemicals and stuff that doesn't need to be there. So, you know, I don't want my products to ever read like a chemistry lesson.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, by the sounds of it, you know, they taste absolutely delicious. So I'm really looking forward to trying some of them, because I know I saw on your website the cheesecakes. They look absolutely adorable.
Thank you.
$1 billion cheese. They look amazing.
Or millionaire's cheesecake, yeah.
Yeah, they look fantastic. So yeah, I'm looking
Thank
forward.
you.
So where do you see yourself then? What's next for you? You said that you wanted to educate people. So how are you gonna do that?
Well, I do. I also put on like events. So I kind of got started probably around July of last year. No, it will have been the year before, won't it? Because last year didn't happen, did it really? Last year kind of like don't exist. So the year before, I did my first event, and it was cheesecake tasting event. So you've heard of like wine tasting and things like that. I decided to do a cheesecake tasting event. So just like with like a wine tasting thing, you know, people come along and I let them taste all my different cheesecakes. And you know, I'll give them a bit of education about, you know, what they're made from, and you know, a bit about the you know, the business. And like I said, to me, it's just showing people that you can enjoy, you know, your treat without feeling crappy or feeling guilty, because I'm a big believer that your food should leave you feeling energized, satiated, and bouncing with joy, because you know, that's what your food and your fluids are meant to do, to leave you feeling amazing. And it's just, you know, educating people about, you know, the possibilities that there are out there. And you know, a lot of the time when I you know, when people come to the events, and I'll say that, you know, instead of using dairy, I'll use things like coconut milk. That's probably the main milk I use, or I also use almond milk as well. You know, it's showing people that there are those alternatives out there, because a lot of people, you know, they want to give up certain things, but they think, oh well, you know, I won't be able to have my coffee, or I won't be able to have my milk, I won't be able to have my cereal in the morning. And it's just, you know, showing people all those alternatives and possibilities that are out there. Yes, and at the same time, you know, they get to sample some really nice cheesecakes. And so that went really, really well. And I was all set to do my next one, which is going to be a truffle tasting event. But then obviously lockdown came. But what I also did in January of, it must be the year before. I'm losing track of the years now with everything that's gone on. It must have been January of last year. That's right, because we didn't really have proper lockdown until kind of like March and stuff, did we? So in January, what I decided to do is I created a new event called Making Healthy Cooking Deliciously Fun.
Oh,
And the idea behind that is, again, it's about a part of education and fun and eating delicious food. What a great combination.
mm,
And it's essentially where I come to somebody's house, I take over the kitchen, and I cook a 3-course meal. And it's like a combination of like a cooking workshop and a gathering, a food gathering. So when I like I say, I take over the kitchen, I bring all my own utensils and everything, and I bring all the food and everything, and I cook healthy, quick, tasty meal, 3 courses, and I show people how I'm doing it. So it's that workshop kind of event, but obviously everyone then just sits around the table, and I serve the meal, and we all sit and enjoy it together.
Marcia, that sounds fantastic. Where's my husband on for it? That sounds amazing. So
Well,
how many people are usually there who you cook for?
I limit it to a maximum of 6 people. So because that would normally be as enough that I could manage, so that I can get to chat with everybody, and it's a nice kind of size of gathering. And the idea why I started it in January, because as we all know, we all make these New Year's resolutions. I'm going to eat healthily in January, I'm going to do this in January, blah blah blah. And by February, it's a bit like the gym effect, when if you regularly go to the gym, you can't get near it in January because it's full of all them people that got it bought for Christmas, or they all made a commitment to do it. But come by the end of February, the place is deserted. And a lot of the time people give up on whatever their goals are because it's too difficult. And they can't find, people want to, a lot of the time people really do want to eat healthy, but they don't want to eat cardboard, and they don't want to eat flavored twigs and stuff. They want nice, delicious, but the most important thing is relatively quick food. And I like the idea that we call it fast food, and we normally associate that with junk food, but you can cook nutritious, healthy, delicious meals pretty quickly.
Nice.
And like I said, that's what I show people how to do that. And like I said, we sit down and enjoy the meal. After I talk people through any guidance or help that they need with stuff. I explain the ingredients to people and show them why I use these ingredients. I don't cook any red meat on the in the event. And I'll cook some fish or some chicken, because I can make them like quite lean. You can obviously get like lean chicken or organic chicken, or and fish, unless you deep fry it in batter, can be a healthier alternative to like meat and stuff. So that's my way of kind of like helping to educate people, but helping them get together, have a gathering of friends and family or whatever. It went down really, really well.
Fantastic.
So I want to do more of those, essentially.
Yeah.
I know a little secret about you, although it might not be that much of a secret, actually. And I have just remembered this. Who remembers Dragon's Den?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
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 Marcia, you were endorsed, weren't you, by, I've forgotten his name. Was it Popular?
Yeah, I know. I have to try and pronounce it. Theo
Papilopoulos.
Wow.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Yeah. I do remember that. Yeah. I was really impressed.
He won this an award. It's called Small Business Sunday, where essentially he you tell him about your business, what difference you're making in the world with it, and that kind of stuff. And he selects 6 businesses that he feels that he feels are doing good works out there, really. And So I was selected. So you get to join like a community, and there's an event that they invite you to every year. You get a digital badge kind of thing, and you can use that in all your marketing and that kind of stuff. It was nice, and you get to meet him obviously at the event as well. So
When was that?
I won that probably maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So it's kind of like on my website and stuff as well.
Did they make stuff for them, Marcia?
Say that again.
Did you have to make stuff for them to taste, or did you just tell them about your business concept?
Yeah, you just tell them about your business.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and it's over on Twitter, and you send a tweet out, just saying what you do and why you do what you do, and with some pictures and stuff, and they
It was fabulous.
Yeah,
really good. Yeah.
So Kathy from RJC Dance, she says she'll be a taste tester. And Joan Stewart says abundance treats are tasty, and I've put your Instagram name on the Facebook comments.
Oh, thank you,
Marcia. And Lynette's been having a little look, and she says your chocolates look tantalizing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, there's just one thing I have to say to you though. So when we talk about wine tasting, they taste the wine, they spit it out, don't they? I'm spitting out no cheesecake. You do know I'm not spitting out nothing.
I like that.
I might have to get a bit grabby if people dare to spit out my cheesecake.
No. I'd be like, one of them walking sticks around the neck. I'd be like, you go.
So now we're getting back to gatherings and that kind of stuff. Like I say, I want to do more of the making healthy cooking delicious before, and I want to do more of those, and I want to get my first truffle tasting event under my belt as well. Again, it'll be an opportunity for people to taste some of the truffles in my range, but I might even, depending on the timing, they might even be the first to taste my latest creation.
Ooh.
Wow, fantastic.
I'd like to tie it in with that as well, and just just because it's always good to get people's opinions and various opinions from various kinds of people.
I love the idea, and I think you mentioned this to me briefly when we met for me to taste your cupcakes that day. I love the idea of you coming to our house and cooking for us, with your mates, and not only you cooking for us, but showing us how you do it and how you achieve it, and then having a little bit of a wine tasting afterwards. I'm like, yes. I think, Marcia, particularly coming out of lockdown, you could market that massively, because people will love just getting together with people again and being treated. I can see that really blowing up.
I'd really like to develop that, because like I said, to me it's not just about having a business, it's about showing people that you don't need to feel guilty or crappy about your food shouldn't make you feel crappy, and if you want to change things up, then there's lots of opportunities for you to do that, and there's lots of different ways you can do it, but most importantly it can be quick. So like I said, I try not to do recipes that take any more than say 20 minutes or so.
Oh, you do for me.
Yeah,
because you know what it's like when you've been working all day and you I mean, I know it's changed a bit since lockdown, but we're going to get back into it, and you're working all day, and you've had a long commute, and you come home and you're just like, oh Lord Jesus, I can't face a big old cookout or something. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's when people are at the most vulnerable to giving into their weaknesses and saying, the idea of cooking a big, long-winded meal, let me just go grab a takeaway. Do you understand me? And I like I said, it's with me, the business is not just about me selling a product. It's about sharing my blessings with other people, and sharing the lessons that I've learned, which is that you know, you can cook quick, healthy kind of meals. And when you get, like it says, when you get in from work and your dinner's on the table in 15-20 minutes, you know, you can't really argue with that, can you? And when it's health, well, obviously it could be on the table in 15-20 minutes if you went and got a takeaway, but you could you know, take more control of that and make that yourself, and you know, be proud about that and know that, you know, what you're eating is filling you up and nourishing you, but you know, you're not feeling rubbish afterwards. So like I said, I love that idea, because I think when we revolutionize our relationship with food, I think it's going to be a game changer.
Absolutely.
So Marcia, are your recipes on your website, did you say?
Well, what's on my website, because you know, this is another thing that you know, I've done things like really kind of professionally. So I've got like business insurance, I've got food hygiene rating of 5, I've got you know, what's the thing called, food hygiene certificate, and all of that kind of stuff, because I think all of those things are really important. But the other thing that's really important is you know, making sure people, being transparent about my ingredients.
Yeah.
So all my ingredients are listed on my website, but they're also always listed on all the products that I sell as well. Because that's really important. And you know, nobody wants to think that, you know, they give something to somebody and it makes them ill. You know, they might have a nut allergy or whatever. And even though, like I said, there's no dairy and gluten and all those kinds of things in my products, what I can't guarantee is what they call cross contamination. So, you know, I have to put a warning on there that it's been made in a kitchen where those things might be present, even though we don't largely eat them. There is a small risk that they could be present. So for anybody with a severe allergy, you know, they might not be suitable for them. But yeah, I'm very transparent about my ingredients, and when you look at them, you'll be able to pronounce all the words, and you'll
yeah, sounds good to me. That sounds
so Nana says, anything to do with health, eating, exercises, mind and soul, I'm up for it. And she says, thank you, Marcia.
Oh, thank her for me.
Kathy at RJC Dance says, I suggest that all today's viewers have priority tasting.
I love it.
What happened though, Marcia, and this has happened to a few people that we've had on here that have got their own businesses. You will get some orders.
Oh, definitely. Exactly.
You will. So you best get in that kitchen and get your apron on, girl, because you're going to be busy.
I know, because you know, like, you know what, when I was working and it was just me, so you come on from work and who can be bothered to cook sometimes, and it's just me, one, I can't be bothered. But if people are around, you know, so Marcia, when you come round, and I've invited a few people around, it's so much better. Yeah, because I find cooking for one so boring, and I can't just cook for one, so I cook up all this big old sitting, but just me one, you know what I mean? Then eating it for days, it'll be in the fridge.
Yeah, and just on that note, like you say, like when you get in from work, when you can't always be bothered, that's a really vulnerable point for people when they're trying to commit to eating healthy and stuff. But another vulnerable point is the 3 o'clock slump. Or it could be between 2-3 o'clock, and that's when, you know, you've been at work all day, you've been up for probably 8-9 hours or whatever, and you can, like, your body's kind of feeling a bit fatigued, and you know, the tuck shops over there or the vending machines over there, and it's, you know, a lot of the time they're, you know, they don't stock healthier things, and so, you know, a lot of my customers are people that you know, they like a snack in the afternoon, and they know they like a snack in the afternoon, sometimes more than one snack in the afternoon, and you know, it's about giving them those kind of options. And you know, because, like I said, my products don't have gluten in them, gluten can start to weigh you down sometimes. You know, it can make you feel a bit lethargic, and you know, all the other chemicals and all that kind of rubbishy stuff in there. So things like I think you mentioned, like the flapjacks. So I do like little flapjack bites.
Oh, this is not fair. You can't. No. You can't be showing us your food.
But these are not any old flapjacks, as a certain supermarket says. These are like fully loaded flapjacks. So they're like this traditional flapjack, but they've got cranberries and raisins in there as well. And you know, the seed mix that you can get, they've got those in as well. So you know, you're having all that good stuff, but you know, still having some like I said, it's gluten free, or so they shouldn't weigh you down and stuff, and it's unrefined sugar that I use. So you can have your snack in the afternoon and not have that big high, because that's what a lot of refined sugar does. It can give you that you know, that sugar high, but then that's followed by the crash later on.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I use like gluten-free oats and unrefined sugar. So it's, you know, it's less taxing on your body.
Wow.
Can I just ask then, Marty, is it in terms of, I know it's not refined sugar, but in terms of the calorific value, is it less calories, or is it equal?
Well, it's interesting you asked me about calories, because I personally don't believe in counting calories. I think we should be looking at the ingredients and the nutritional value of what we're eating rather than the calories. Because I know this goes against everything that the experts say, but I don't think it's calories that make you fat. I think it's unhealthy food that makes you fat. I know that's really explosive and really controversial, but
I don't think it is.
No, I agree, actually, absolutely.
and so yes, there is. I try not to overload my products with sugar. I just try to put in enough, you know, to get that kind of like sweet taste, but without that, you know, sometimes when you eat sweet stuff and your teeth start to rattle like that, I try not to have that kind of effect. So I do use less sugar, and I only use refined sugar. But it's very possible that, you know, they have these traffic light systems and those kinds of things. You know, if I was to comply with that traffic light system, which I'll probably need to do if I want to upscale the business, it may well say that, you know, it's got quite a lot of sugar in it, possibly, or you know, or whatever. So in that respect, yes, I'm not kind of like sugar free. And talking of sugar free, it's something that I may well consider in the future. I'd like to explore, is to be, you know, have no sugar whatsoever in my products. But obviously they would need to be very well tested, and they still need to taste good as well. So yeah, so most of my products don't have nutritional value on. I think my no bake granola bars do, but none of the other products do have nutritional value on.
So who's your Marcia?
Sorry, you just dipped a bit then.
Who's your superhero?
Oh gosh, who's my superhero? I've just got so many. Alive or past?
Up to you.
Well, if I was to choose someone, it would be, if it was somebody famous, it would be Maya Angelou.
Okay. Yeah, we love her.
You know, I look at if you look at the era when she grew up in, and what she was still able to rise up, you know, and still be able to rise. I think that's where the phrase comes from, still I rise.
Yeah.
So, you know, everything that she had to endure, and, you know, she still rose and sang like a bird.
Absolutely.
And it just reminds me that, you know, life is tough a lot of the time. And, you know, I still think we're all meant to rise. You know, we get sent these challenges, but a lot of life is about the lessons that we learn from those challenges. And some people say there's no such thing as mistakes, only lessons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As long as you can learn from that and keep moving forward, that's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, moving forward, and only look back to see how far you've come.
Yeah, exactly. Karen, have we got any more comments, any more questions for Marcia?
I think Kathy's was the last one about that we should all have priority tasting.
You repeated that one again.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to say it again.
Well, yes, we'll tell Kathy to look out for my events. You know, as soon as we can all gather together again, you know, I'll be putting on the next one, which will be a truffle tasting event.
Nice one. That'll be amazing.
We'll look out for that. Well, yeah, and ladies, have you got any other comment? Marcia, are you all right? Marcia Hilton? Have you got any?
Yeah, I would just to say, it's been a real pleasure just having you on, and you know, my mouth is just kind of watering thinking about what I can eat now, what I can order. I think it's fabulous. No, and yeah, it's just been a real pleasure having you on, Marcia, and yeah, and just absolutely loving what you are doing. It's so needed as well. So, and to be able to have an alternative to, you know, this other stuff that's out there, that's going to be, what did you say, better for you? I like that. You know, I think is good, because I think a lot of us need to take our health in. Certainly me, definitely need to kind of, you know, revisit a few things, especially around diet. So yeah.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you, and you know, just speaking to what you were saying, we you know, we have a lot of challenges with our food and stuff, but you know what many of us don't realize is that a lot of the stuff that is put in our food is actually designed to be addictive, and this is why many of us struggle to give it up. And you know, that's another motivation for me, you know, setting up the business. Really, I just think, you know, wholesome, natural food that tastes amazing, you know, I just think that's the way forward.
Yeah.
I think for me, you know, I really love the fact that, again, I think like all of us on here, what you have done has come from some personal lived experience, you know, from your dad and his experience. And that's why, you know, you've got that passion about it. And that's why your food will bless people's soul, because it isn't just about the money. It is about, there is a purpose, there is a reason for this. You know, Marcia's business is the same. What Leslie wants to achieve, it's all come from our suffering in I don't mean that in a really negative way, but we want to do something better from what we've seen. So I love the story behind your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love your business as well, though.
Thank you. And
yeah, it's like, this isn't just thingy flapjacks. This is abundance food flapjack.
This is fully loaded flapjack. And just what I was saying to you before, quickly, when I was saying that, you know, I'm a bit way out there with certain things, and I believe that you can, because I'm a big believer in energy, and because we're all energy, you know, we're all, you know, every living thing is just made up of lots of atoms, kind of like vibrating. And when I make my stuff, I feel that I put love into it.
Absolutely. You could tell that all the way through. Do you know what I mean? That's what you do, definitely.
Yeah. And I want the people that who eat the stuff, I want them to feel amazing. I want them to feel that energy and that love for their food. I want to, you know, bless them with that.
Yeah. Well, I know that you're going to be coming around to my house to be cooking as well.
Yeah. And I know that I'm going to be going to Leslie's house.
We are definitely doing that. Definitely.
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
I think we should do a real tabletop meal.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
What a fantastic idea.
Yeah. We just need to rope in 2 other people and
we need to do that. We can get 2 other people. I'm sure in them comments will be like, I'll come.
Like food stories, because you know, we're from a culture where, you know, food is important, and you know, back in the day, we used to gather as a family around the table. I mean, we don't do it as much now, obviously, but you know, a day like today, it would be everybody around the table, dinner is ready, you know, sat at the table having a gathering, and you know, I miss that, I must say.
I love that. I just love that. Family around the table, eating, laughing, drinking, and just the whole atmosphere of it all. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
food
very nice.
stories. Us and the Italians apparently they're really big around food and family and stuff, and it's
Yeah,
kind of an embedded part of our culture.
Yeah.
it is.
It's
Oh,
so true.
it's been brilliant talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, thank you so much.
Listen to me rabbiting on. I could rabbit on all day about healthy eating stuff. I could.
It's been good.
But
Really good.
if I share something and I inspire even just one person, then
Oh, you've
that's
done
been my
more than
purpose
that.
today.
You've done more than that today. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Karen, I know Karen, you were saying that you put her details, Marcia's details in the
I'll
comments.
put your Instagram details on the comments. Yeah.
Right.
Excellent. And just one quick thing I would just want to say with the making healthy, cooking deliciously fun events. Like I said, I do it as like a workshop come food stories thing. But afterwards, everybody gets sent a recipe book with the meal that I cooked, showing them how to recreate it themselves and any equipment that I used and stuff as well. So it's
Wow.
amazing value.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because like I said, I want to create a legacy. And so, I don't want people to just come and have that event. I want them to, like, next week when they get in from work and say, oh, Marcy sent me a recipe book and I know a really quick recipe I can make when I get in from work.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Definitely going to
I
solve
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, we like to give value, what we're like, it's go large or go home with us, you understand?
Yeah. No in between. But I think Marcia Hilton's idea of one of your sessions, Marcia Clarke, recorded, watching what you've done with us, obviously me, Marcia, and Leslie being your top people there.
Of course.
But recording the workshop and just us having a good time and that being one of our real table talk sessions, I think.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic idea.
Actually, isn't that a genius? It's amazing, you sit and chat with people and you get so many ideas, some people just inspire you. I told you Karen inspires me already anyway. And,
Huh?
you know that.
No,
And,
whose idea was it? Was it your idea?
Marcia mentioned it, but I've like brought it to life. I've brought it to life, and you get it on your YouTube page. Amazing.
yeah, absolutely.
Well done. I think it's a fantastic idea. Well done, ladies. Well done. Marcia,
Thank you so much.
thank you so much. It's been
Thanks
brilliant. And I am looking forward to getting on your website and ordering some, what did you say? Better for you dishes or treats. Better for you treats. Yes.
Better for your treats, yes. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to ordering some. And thank you.
What is your website, Marcia?
My website is abundancefoods.co.
Okay.
Yeah, .co. People think I'm meant to say .co.uk, but it's just .co. Like the new website suffix is just .co.
Okay.
And one last thing, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Why I called the business Abundance Foods.
Oh God, yeah, that was one of my questions. And why?
Why I called it Abundance Foods is because I genuinely believe in my heart and in my soul that there is more than enough food and resources for every single being on this planet.
Yeah.
I think this planet can sustain everybody. There's more than enough food, water, shelter, and the needs that we have as human beings. We just don't know how to distribute the resources fairly, or some people don't want them to be distributed fairly, and I want us to get back to that, because there is, like I said, there's an abundance of amazing plant-based foods out there, and like I said, enough for everybody. My and quickly I meant to say my tagline is from the tree to my kitchen.
Oh, I like that. From the tree to my kitchen. Nice. Well, thank you so much. Sorry, Karen.
Abundant food.
Abundance. ABUNDANCE.
Abundance Foods.
Abundance Foods. That's it. Yeah.
.co.
.co.
Cool.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much to everybody for leaving your comments for Real Table Talk. Well appreciated. And thank you so much, Marcia, for coming on and sharing your stories. I know Karen's put Marcia's details in the comments, so please don't be shy. Just share it, share it, share it all. I'm sure somebody else would like to taste these beautiful Better You treats. I know I will.
Yeah, it's great for people with allergies and things like that as well. There's bound to be somebody on that knows somebody with allergies these days.
Absolutely, exactly. But thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Yeah, so, ladies,
It's been a pleasure.
anything else you'd like to go say before we go?
Oh, it's just been fantastic for me. I'm just hungry.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, and
Thank
we
you.
will see you in a couple of weeks. Okay, thank you.
Take
Brilliant.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.